You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the June 24th meeting for the LaPorte County Regional Sewer and Water District Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Okay, we're going to call the meeting of the LaPorte County Regional Sewer District to order for June 24th. If everybody could please rise and salute the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
John Carr,
Here.
Marcella Kunstick, here. Jerry Jackson,
Here.
Mitch Bishop,
Here.
Corey Campbell is not here. Mark Danielson,
Present.
Amanda Laners, here. We have a quorum.
Okay. Minutes from the May 27th meeting.
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Are there any questions on the motion? Proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by the word aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Public comment. Anyone wishing to speak needs to state their name and address for the record, and we'll have 3 minutes to speak. Is there anybody here for public comment? Anybody online for public comment? Public comment?
Better unmute Joyce, hold on. Or I guess you have to unmute yourself. Joyce, if you want to speak, put it on in the chat, let me check the chat.
Okay.
I guess there's no public comment.
All right. Moving on to reports. Steve Carter, Claims and Finance.
Okay, things are starting to pick up financially. Starting with Hudson Saugony, we had some transactions in May, including the ARPA funds coming from the county getting deposited. We had a partial payoff of the bond anticipation note to the tune of $857,000. Some engineering. Some toll road reimbursables, which are getting reimbursed this month. I ran out of checks, or actually had them. They were just back at my office. Financial advisor, some interest income, ending balance $2,584,149.40, and that includes the Horizon account, the Hoosier Fund, and the Bank of New York construction account. So we transferred $643,000 over to that out of the ARPA funds. For Rolling Prairie, receipts for the month of $6,049, disbursements of $56.69, interest income of $383, and the loan principal of $1,830. Ending balance May 31st, $322,956.39. Of that amount, $259,475 is in the O&M account, $8,500 in debt service reserve, and $54,981 in bond and interest. Which that payment will be paid made July 1st. For the toll road, no receipts for the month. Disbursements $4,097. Interest income $1,109. Ending balance $582,632.48. Of that amount, $211,507.86 is in the Horizon checking account, which is your O&M fund, and the balance of $371,124.62 is in the Hoosier Fund, which is your improvement fund.
Need motion.
Okay. We need a motion for the claims.
I just have a quick question, Mr. President.
Yeah, sure.
Have we subsequently received the payment from the toll road? I mean, that ended as of May 31st.
No. There, I think with the changing in the billing, there was a little bit of a confusion, and Asbury reached out to me to try to get information and a contact phone number. So I think that hasn't ended anything. I think maybe there was just a miscommunication with the changing in the billing. So they were going to reach out to them and try to get a contact phone number.
Okay. I just knew at one point they fell a little behind. I just don't want to see that again.
No, I think Asbury was going to try to reach out to them to make sure that they had the new information on the billing.
Okay. We can, need a motion for the claims?
Claims, I'm sorry. I will go ahead and do that as well. You have claims for your consideration of $87,325.85.
So move as stated.
Second.
We have a motion, a second to pay the claims. Any questions? Proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by word aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Anything else, Steve?
That's all for me.
Okay, Asbury,
Good morning.
what's happening?
Morning.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm good. As far as since the last meeting, we're still working on trying to receive ferric. The delivery company made a whole bunch of new rules about how high the delivery pipe needs to be, so we're making adjustments on that. How close the eye wash or shower is compared to where they're delivering it. So we're still working on that. We did have sludge hauled last week. The hydrant was installed at the beginning of the month. The backflow preventers at both the water and the wastewater plant have been certified. And the flow rates at both at the water plant and the waste treatment plant are a lot higher. So I checked with the toll road people, and they did have a couple leaks, but I don't know that they've addressed it. You know, I know their limit is 24,000 or 26,000, and they're routinely going over that now.
How much over 24,
About
26,000?
30 to 35.
Wow.
I would,
And I gotta believe it's probably 10,000 gallons of water going somewhere that they haven't addressed.
okay,
so-
so, but you,
So they're gonna work on a planned expansion for us then? Is that the?
Yeah, really. What in the
okay,
world?
so they're aware of it?
I made somebody aware of it. Yes,
Okay.
one of the management.
Do we need to, and I'm asking this as a general
Yeah.
statement, do we need to do that with a follow-up?
Like a letter, maybe certified?
Email or something, just to let them know that this is like a group question, I don't know.
Well, we also need to start billing them for these overages per their agreement. And that is one thing that now the Asbury is also doing the billing, that we need to start
Right,
keeping
that's kind of why I
track
brought
of that.
this up.
Yes.
I mean, I made them
Absolutely.
aware of it, and they, you know, I think they still have issues. I mean, I understand that summertime's a lot busier for them,
Yeah.
but I still believe.
Is that in your report here about this overage? And
I don't know. I did submit it to Tom. I don't know if he included it in the report or not.
okay, we definitely need that information, and we need to document it. And yes, I think that definitely needs to be followed up, and we need to invoice that. I think
Is there a premium then for flows over their max flow?
yes, there is. It's in the ordinance, and that needs to be documented, and we need to go and
Collect that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So can we get,
Even if it's-
I'm looking at this quickly and I don't
Backdated.
see anything
Yeah.
on that.
absolutely.
Yeah. Alright, good.
Okay, well, like I said, I may or may not have said something to Tom, but I'd have to look at what I sent him.
Well-
But that's just something that sitting here that I thought of, and I jotted it down.
Yeah.
And knowing that the toll road knows about it,
Yeah.
and it's been a week and a half since probably I've been there.
Okay, if you can document and send an email to me and Dan of when you talk to them and who you talk to, so that we have that information.
Okay.
And then we need to be keeping track of this and these
And let
flows.
Tom know, correct?
Yeah, and when you let Tom know, because
Yes.
we need to be watching this.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
And you're seeing that on both sides, water usage
Yes.
and
Yes. Seeing
wastewater.
on both sides.
Okay.
One
Any other-
question
yes.
for you. You said the subcontractor is wanting an eye wash station?
They wanted to know how far it was away from where they're delivering the ferric chloride. It's got to be within like 55 feet, and it is.
Okay.
But they want to have not only an eye wash but a shower, and they have both of those inside the building.
Okay, that's fine.
But they can't access it? Is that the problem, or
No,
what's their?
It's not that they can't access it. Is their rule was 55 feet.
Okay.
I had to go in there and measure to make sure that it is within that, and it was within that.
So
So
it was within there. You
Good.
don't have to
Yes.
do anything different. That's
Right.
what I was getting.
right, but I had to take pictures and get the approval. We had to do some piping as far as on the receiving pipe was on top of the tank. We had
Goodness
to
gracious.
we had to pipe it down so it's on the ground and put some strapping behind it so it, to secure it.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that shower.
Moving on to,
The tepid water, cause
do we need to go over billing, Asbury?
I put in your report for them, the 4 different reports that we received from them. I don't know if you guys have any questions. I don't know if we have anybody on.
Are we good, Jennifer? Everything's up and running, and we're not having any issues. And
Yeah, as far as I know.
Okay.
I got the reports from them, and it looks like you guys got your deposit, right? Steve, they transferred over the money for the month from May. The ACH money, Steve.
I believe so, yes.
So it looks like everything's going good. And like I said, they had asked for the information from the toll road so they could contact them. I don't know that we actually have a actual contact person, but we're trying to find that for them with the phone number.
Yeah, we need a
That they-
contact. Yeah, you know that.
Yeah, I don't know that we have one because they've changed
yeah,
information, but they can send a letter and try to get
Yeah.
So
that.
you're working on that?
there has to be somebody in charge of facilities. I mean,
Right, I think they use a third-party payment process.
Oh.
Remember that.
Oh yes, that's right.
Right.
Yes.
With them, they should have it. And
Right. You're
Wow.
right, they should.
Yep.
That's not always easy to deal with.
No.
That.
No. Nope.
So
They
nothing
started
new
in.
there. I mean,
They started billing in May or collecting in
yeah,
May.
they are. Yeah. Mhm.
So they usually don't make that transfer until like
The ordinance.
the,
What's extra?
maybe a week into June. Like it's
I already
7.
got one transfer from them. We got an ACH in the report that I was in the boardable that already said
Okay.
that.
I'm just looking at the bank statement. I'm still seeing. It'll work itself out, but I'm trying to answer your question. I'm still seeing a lot of like the whole month of May. It's coming in from JPR, and then there were 2 other deposits, smaller deposits. One on the 5th of May.
I don't
one
know.
on
I'm
the 8th of
just
May.
looking at this bank reconciliation that they did. I'd have to ask them.
Jennifer, what's that deposit from Asbury?
It says May bank reconciliation
Oh.
report.
I'm saying that deposit probably has not been deposited yet. That's just the reconciliation report. I'm not seeing it on the bank statement yet. They usually he takes he takes a day or 2 at the end of the month to reconcile, and then the following week is normally when he sends the payment over.
Okay. Well, it says
So
May
you're gonna be
31st,
keeping an
so
eye
it
on
should have been probably sometime in June, I'm guessing. So it's
Yeah.
probably there by now.
That would be my assumption as well. I haven't looked at the June statements.
Okay.
Toll road.
We don't know the overage, do we? As far as dollar amount?
What do you mean the
You'd be
overage?
receiving from the toll road? Because of the overage that they've had to.
We gotta bill them.
Got to bill them first.
And I know,
bill it full.
but
We don't, I
the
don't,
building, but the,
no, he
our
doesn't.
ordinance are, we should know how much it is.
No, we have to know the
gallon.
amount they're over first before we
yeah.
know what to bill them.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
I mean, we gotta look at the ordinance and then,
That's what I'm saying. Do we know what the?
I don't know what the original agreement was. I don't know what that gallonage is. So you have to
I
know.
mean, I can look it up in the,
Yeah, all right. I didn't
The
know.
ordinance?
Yeah. If anybody.
Right. And I don't think the overages started until June. probably,
It's just this month.
yeah, it's
But-
until June, but
Yeah, I'd be curious if it's expressed as a 120% of the going rate, or, you know,
right.
what it is.
But we'll get
I guess we gotta
something.
vote the ordinance.
We'll get a report or something for the, at the next meeting then?
Hopefully before the next meeting.
Okay, well,
Right, Jennifer?
but to tell us, we'll know it at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Anything else under Asbury billing? Moving on to JPR District Administrator, receiving calls from project update, letter mailed.
Yep. Last month we mailed out a letter to all the property owners in the current phase and the upcoming phases, just giving them an update. So I've been receiving quite a few phone calls regarding that and emails, and just been replying and answering
Has
as
it
many
been
as
positive, negative?
a little bit of both.
Okay.
We also will be discussing some property owners that want to be a part of the project that are not currently but want to be in there. So, which is a good sign.
Yeah.
One property owner who had a house on the lake but tore it down, but wants to build and can't build because they have no room for a septic.
Oh, that's the one right on 400, I'll bet.
Nope.
No?
Nope. But we do have an area that wants to build and be in, or wants to be in the project.
Welcome.
So we have actually
Come on down.
some areas that want to be in now.
All right.
So
Happened on Pine Lake, here in LaPorte.
yeah.
Mitch,
So
have you heard anything
this
about
might be
anybody else maybe potentially looking to tap in?
Yeah, there was an email I sent out
Yeah,
a couple of weeks ago. I had a meeting with the Sheriff Foundation.
yeah, my recommendation, definitely start talking to them.
Yeah, they wanted to come to the board and give the proposal, what they're thinking and doing. Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with the Sheriff Foundation. They're just north
Yeah, they're,
Around 300
of,
East.
of 300 East, yeah. And probably as the crow flies, maybe a quarter mile
Okay.
from our plant.
now. Is that the one that I thought Steve had already talked
Yep.
about at some point?
Last meeting we talked about it.
That he wasn't here, so he didn't.
Okay, that's the meeting I missed. But
Yeah.
I had a meeting with the president, and he went over his whole site plan with me, what he wants to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he wanted to present something to the board. I don't know.
And that-
Did Steve get that involved?
Yeah, Steve was already involved in
Oh,
some.
because he didn't mention anybody from JPR.
Yeah, and we had already discussed that at the last meeting, and you guys had already given approval for Steve to
Move forward.
Move forward.
with
More,
it.
which,
Okay.
which sounds like it's already.
okay,
Yeah.
I think that's good.
Yeah, they have the capabilities through private donations or what have you. They basically stated we could clear out the land, we could engineer it all, and construct it without any help from you. But we just want to give our plan to the board.
Maybe they can
okay.
have our sewer project.
Yeah, right.
It was probably in the minutes from last month
Yep.
already.
All right.
Okay, are we done with the district administrator letter? JPR letter, I'm sorry. Phase 2 update, Dan?
All right, I don't have much of a phase 2 update other than kind of what we've had the last several months, where we're just kind of waiting to do that transfer of those final remaining funds from phase 2 into Hudson. So moving on into Hudson, I started this month my project update memo that I send out. I'm trying to make it a more like encompassing memo, not just a Hudson Saugony based memo.
Dan,
Yeah.
I think first we should probably start. On the agenda, I put the Lori Shipman.
Oh, that's part of Hudson Saugony.
Oh, it is?
Right, yeah,
Okay,
I'm
sorry.
getting there. I'm getting there first. So yeah, as Jennifer mentioned, the first item I think that was attached in your boardable docs were proposals for labor standards administrators. We received proposals from both Shipman Consulting and Priority Project Resources. If you guys have had a chance to review those, we've worked with both of them in the past. Most often we work with Lori Shipman. I can't remember who did we use in Rolling Prairie Phase 2? I don't recall.
It was Shipman.
It
Was it Shipman,
Okay.
John?
I think it was.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your recommendation out of the two?
Well, I mean, given our experience with her and with the price being provided, I'd recommend Shipman Consulting.
Okay,
I see. There is a difference. So there's 23.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
is Shipman lower?
Yes.
Yes, she is.
Do we need to make a motion, get that done?
Yep.
Make a motion per stated?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to award to Shipman Consulting. Any questions?
Just a quick comment. Dan, will we have access to that information that she collects?
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Okay. And then is it possible I can get her email address, Jennifer, just so I can kind of correspond with her also?
Yeah, you can have access to all that information, and I think at the end they provide hard copies of all of it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by the word aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Okay, Saugony wastewater collection system.
Yes. Next up, I've got executed copies of documents from both of our contractors for contract A and B. I have executed copies of the construction agreement contract that would require board action to go ahead and authorize, as well as the notice to proceed for each contract for board authorization to sign off on. The notice to proceed is set up so that the contract time would start on July 1st. I'd have to look at what that means as far as substantial completion date. That's, you're looking at 510 days from July 1st. Yeah. And then 530 for contract B. We kind of staggered them by 30 days to make sure that the pump station was installed and up and running and ready to receive flow from the collection system by the time it's done. So we want the pump station done 30 days in advance.
Are both July 1st, Dan?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, both will be July 1st. And then along with the agreement were the required documents that the contractor was to submit regarding performance and payment bonds and insurance certificates. Those have all been thoroughly reviewed by JPR, and we recommend approval and authorization to sign off on the contract and the notice to proceed for each contract A and B.
Okay. Do we need a motion for that?
You do. And I mean, they sent them to me looking for my review of both the signatures on the contracts and the bonds and the insurance information, and they seem to be all in good form to me. So I would think I would probably do two different motions, a motion for contract A and a motion for contract B, just because it's an important vote, and I just think you ought to do it separately.
Okay, thank you. Make a motion for contract A to approve.
Second. There's a motion and a second to execute contract A. Any questions on the motion?
I would probably make the motion that both authorization to execute the contract and execution of the notice to proceed on both contracts.
Make that motion.
Sorry I didn't say that. Sorry I didn't say that earlier, Mark.
That's fine. No, that's good.
Make that motion, right?
Okay, we got is there a second?
Yes, he did. Jerry.
We got a motion and a second to give authorization to sign contract A and authorization to proceed, notice to proceed for contract A. Any questions? Proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by the word A.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. I have it.
And then I think you'd need one for B as well.
Contract B.
Make another motion for contract B to notice to proceed and I forgot what.
Authorizing notice to proceed and authorizing signing the contract.
Yes.
Noted.
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
We got a motion and a second to sign contract B, authorize contract B, signature contract B, and a notice to proceed for contract B. Any questions? Proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by the word aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
Awesome, thanks guys.
Do we know who we're getting on to run the job on TCB?
I heard one name and now I'm not sure.
Curious if it was the same foreman we had in LaPorte.
I don't think it is. I'm not sure.
You could do a lot worse than him.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you get it worked out so you're gonna have a piece of equipment, what you needed?
Yes, yeah. TGB has said that they will do that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay, where were we? All right. Next item up, we have pre-construction meeting. We have set a date and established this with both contractors. We are going to essentially hold 2 pre-construction meetings on the same day, a couple hours apart from each other. This meeting is going to be held at the wastewater treatment plant building. I believe we're working on assembling chairs and tables and
Yeah, I'm gonna go there. We
Yep.
have some there, but I'm just gonna go check it out today. I got keys from Chris today,
okay,
so I can make sure all the appropriate parties have.
awesome. So
Chris,
that meeting is scheduled for July 16th. Contract A's pre-con is at 11 a.m. and Contract B's is at 1 p.m. Those are both Eastern time, since both of our contractors operate on Eastern time. So we do not require board attendance at it, but usually it's good to have 1 or 2 people from the board there.
I'm gonna try to be there, Dan.
we just can't have a quorum.
Yeah,
Right.
you can't have a
So
quorum.
if you want to attend, let me know.
Okay.
I just cannot have a quorum, so just let me know so we can make sure.
Right, and JPR is doing construction services.
Yes.
Who's our person in that job?
Are you saying for inspection?
Inspection.
Oh, who are we gonna have? coming
Probably
up here? We were just talking about
Dave
this last week.
Williams,
That's what I believe.
but-
Yeah.
We haven't completely confirmed all of that yet, I
Yeah.
think, but he's probably one of them, the main one, I'm guessing.
They'll be at the pre-con.
Yes, definitely.
They're always at the pre-con.
Yep.
Are you gonna go, Jer?
I was thinking I would. Is there going to be a notice sent out, time and date and all that
Oh,
business?
we can do that. Yeah.
What'd
Put
you
a
say?
calendar thing together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Calendar.
16.
I won't be able to make it, so I'm
Eastern.
Okay.
So
July 16th
yeah.
at 11 a.m. Eastern Time.
10 and 12.
First one.
What day of the week is that?
It's a Wednesday.
All right. So
10 a.m. Central, 12 p.m. Central.
Building.
So we have Marcy and Jerry, and then we can only have one more at the max.
And I don't have to go if like you want to go, Mitch or Amanda or anything like that. Totally up to you all.
Yeah. Okay.
all right. Well, let us know, but I'll send out the initial invite to Marcy and Jerry.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Next up, Jennifer mentioned earlier we do have several property owners that have expressed interest in that are property owners that are part of the district currently that are planning to be served by the Saugony Lake wastewater collection system eventually, that are actually interested in jumping in now and connecting as part of this initial project. The kind of the procedure that we'd look at for doing this is we wouldn't actually change the contract documents and add these people into the project until a little later in the project, just because there's the possibility that could impact contingency funding. If they're coming in with the project, those are costs that haven't been associated for in the project contract. So later on in the project, the sort of the back half, we'll have an idea of where we're going to land with our contingency funding, so we can make a plan accordingly at that time. But the idea is their connection would be installed along with everybody else's, and they'd get a notice to connect at the same time. So I think we are recommending that the engineering committee review those.
Yeah.
On a case-by-case basis. I mean, JPR will look at them initially just to make sure that they make sense from a hydraulic design standpoint. In some cases, you may have a property owner that's kind of out on their own that wants to connect, but there's a couple houses between them, and it may be worth it to look into see if we already hold easements for those properties.
Right.
Seeing if they'd be interested in connecting now instead of, so that way we can maybe add a few more than just the one.
Right. And there's
How many are you looking at roughly? Just curious to.
I'm not even sure.
As far as an interest.
well, and we got 2 different situations here too
Yes.
that we're talking about. One is an area that wants to connect that we're going to actually have to extend the pipe to. So of
Okay.
course that's going to be a lot more, okay? And that's the one, we want to review with the engineering committee to see, okay, this is what it's going to cost if we get to the end of it, and we can use the contingency funds for this area, and add this.
Kind of a bugger
And so, that's where we want to take that to the engineering committee, and we could do that, with the change order and add that
Yep.
area. And most of them have signed easements, so that they all obviously want to be part of the project. that's a whole nother situation. And then can we use, and then the other part of that too is then we have these exemptions, okay? So the other part of that, which is the next item on here, do we take out that equipment? Because then that's a deduct
And
from
no-
the project. So does that offset?
Wow.
What we're proposing is no, we don't remove those items from the contract right now.
But you're
Okay.
still gonna review all of them.
Right, yes.
But that also, you know, we don't take that out till the end, but that could also, you
Have an
know,
effect on our budget.
right?
Our construction
Well,
budget.
it could, you know,
mean, if you have-
offset some of it.
If you have, what do we have, 15 exemptions? Something
Yes.
like that?
Yeah.
If you have 15 exemptions, but you have 15 people that want to tie back in, I mean, it's gonna be
Yeah.
roughly a net wash.
Right.
So
You're gonna
there's,
be looking at all of that in your reviews, and as you are looking at it, you're gonna make a suggestion and your opinion to the engineering committee.
yes.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
But then the other one situation is where they tore down a home last year that's right on the lake.
Okay.
That the pipe's going right by their house, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
can't build anything because they can't get a new septic from the health
So
department.
he should connect,
Which,
right?
there's only the only
Right.
thing they need to do is get a grinder.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a whole different situation. We're already
Wow.
going by that property. We didn't count it in the project at the time because there was no home there.
Yeah.
But we can
So,
approve that, correct?
I
If
think
he
that
wants to
one
buy his
is
own
a whole
grinder or
different
whatever.
situation.
Have they
You know?
looked at it and feel comfortable with it, or do you want them to take a look at all of them and then?
That just came up this past Friday
Yeah, right.
with the phone call to us.
You're okay then to say, in this situation with the house that's down, proceed.
That again, we would want
Yeah,
to take to
just
the engineering
Try to do
company.
it
Correct.
at one time.
Yeah, we'd take it to the engineering committee, and like we mentioned, we would likely add them to the project later in the project.
And we're
Okay.
probably gonna have more of these, I would anticipate.
Yes, yeah,
Exactly.
you're gonna have
This-
more pop up as construction starts.
This is where, when I, in the beginning of the meeting, I said, coming up, we are gonna have, this is important, like every meeting going forward. I'm gonna need you guys to let me know if you can't make it to a meeting.
Because we're gonna, okay.
And we're gonna have, now that this project is underway, probably every month, our engineering meetings, we're gonna probably need to schedule a set engineering meeting every month.
Okay.
To bring all these little things up every meeting, recommendations for all these things. are
Because you
gonna
have to
keep
move
popping
on
up.
it. Okay.
Yes.
That's fine.
So I think what we're gonna need to do is set a regular monthly engineering meeting for these little things. And then that we can bring to the board, and then our monthly meeting. So it's gonna be kinda ongoing. We're gonna,
So
these
set
are
a
gonna
date,
keep
right?
coming up.
Yeah,
Yes.
basically
I
pick
think we
a,
need to just set a reoccurring,
Yeah. That's a
Okay.
good idea.
because,
Maybe a
and then
week
if we need
before
to
the board
cancel
meeting or
it,
something.
yes.
Like
If
the
we-
idea.
pre-agenda meeting, maybe after the pre-agenda.
Yes. Then if we
Okay.
need to cancel it, we cancel it, but these are gonna keep coming up, and the more we get into construction, they're gonna keep happening.
Okay.
Okay.
And Dan, are all of the ones so far outside of the concept of the Share Foundation, are they all in the scope of the project? They are.
Yeah.
Okay.
yep,
Okay.
Not phase
they're
one,
people-
but obviously the scope of the whole
correct.
project.
There were
Right.
people that were intended to eventually be served as part of the full
Right.
project.
That's what I
Yeah.
meant.
They might be 3 or 4 blocks off.
Yes.
Right, exactly.
Yep, so that kind of covers items D and E on the agenda there regarding requests to be included and exemptions. Next item F on ITRCC rate increase discussion. I think we're proposing a first reading of that at the July meeting. A week or so ago, JPR met with Asbury and we put together a 5-year capital plan for the wastewater plant and the water plant at the Travel Plaza, basically just to look at what our infrastructure needs are going to be immediately in the next 5 years to kind of help with the development of that ITRCC rate.
Yep.
And believe we've provided that to you, right, Steve?
So
It was in the board packet.
it was last week sometime, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
And-
So
And so we're like pretty much ready to go after Barry takes a look at it, or
we'll be
Yeah, we have to come up with a number.
yeah.
Oh,
We'll be drafting
okay.
the number in the next month, and
I would like you to.
Just wing it.
but we're
30
using that
grand a
5-year
month,
capital
I know.
plan to develop and justify that costing.
Okay.
Yep.
So we'll be able to concrete vote on this next month, is what I'm hoping.
We'll have first reading next month.
Okay.
We won't vote till probably the August meeting.
Okay. Great.
This is, to me, it's worth the delay because if there's any pushback from the ITRCC,
Yeah.
all of this now we're kind of not just winging it.
Yeah, you're gonna
Getting real
have.
data about here's why we're coming up with the rate. So
Well, the timing might be right because of the overages that they have right now. Come on.
true.
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah, and Chris
They've been living large for a while.
Chris gave me readings just a month or two ago from the last year. And then now with this information, we can go back and we'll know exactly how many overages we've had in the last year. And we need to look at all that information.
So I mean, if I could get something from Steve and JPR or Asbury, who's ever going to kind of develop the numbers in the next couple of weeks, that'd be fine.
Yeah,
I could generate a draft of
this week's out for me.
It'll be a
but
short.
we're
Just,
gonna
I mean,
get
I don't think we have to change
that.
the ordinance.
Thank you.
I mean, I sent out the ordinance. I didn't get any real reaction, so I think we're just going to stick with the ordinance and just change the rates.
Okay.
So, and are we envisioning both water and sewer changes at this point, or just
Sewer.
Yeah, both.
both? Good.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's why we're taking a little bit extra time to review water.
They're the water plant's only customer.
Yeah, no, I think if you're doing one, you may as well do both. I agree.
Yeah.
Shaded box. You know, again.
All right.
Thanks, Dan.
Yep, no problem. Little note there about Asbury being ready to mail out invoices. Jennifer, did you have anything?
Nope,
That on
they
that.
got the spreadsheet with the property owners. I talked with Kevin from Asbury. He's ready. I sent him the information, so they're ready for the interim billing to go out.
Okay.
All right.
Great.
Then last item on there, the timetable is attached in my memo. That's basically been unchanged for the last couple of meetings as we've kind of moved into June here. As I think we've mentioned previously, I think Steve Henshin probably mentioned this at the last meeting. It looks like the contractors aren't looking at starting construction, breaking ground until August. So that doesn't change the overall contract time, though. The clock still starts on July 1.
and you're gonna
Okay.
have a piece of equipment there.
Yeah, they will.
Very good.
Yep.
No, that's great.
Yep. Now the last thing, before I'm done here, this didn't make it into the agenda because of when this stuff was released, but the SRF released their draft project priority lists last week, and just like last year, the district scored in the top 11, it looks like, and well within the fundable range. So that's for the phase 2 and 3 projects. So that being said, we're going to be looking at reaching out to SRF to set up some kind of call discussion where we can determine what their level of grant subsidization is going to be looking like for that for that phase 2 and 3, just to kind of plan things out there.
Wow.
Great. Good
But
luck.
yep, we continued to score well again, so we're gonna keep forging forward with getting the rest of Saucony done and moving on to Hudson and the plant upgrades.
That's
When you
good
say
news.
phase 2 and 3,
Yes.
originally that was the main to Hudson and the connection lines in Hudson. That was 2 and 3.
Yes.
But now that we divided Saucony up,
Yes.
so what is 2? The rest of
It's
Saucony?
the remainder of the project.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, is what this represents.
Okay.
Is the remainder of the project. Now, will they provide enough subsidy to make it feasible to do the rest of the project in one phase? Probably not.
Or do we phase it again?
Yeah, right. But we want to know what they're going to come to the table with.
Does SRF look at growth issues in addition to environmental issues when they score?
Are you saying as far as like capacity goes?
Or are they looking at Amazon moving in just down the road?
Oh, I gotcha. I'm not sure whether they look at that or not. I mean, because I know we spell out what it looks like the population of the area is going to do over the next 20 years. That's part of developing the PER, is looking at future
They got
population
information.
projections. Yeah, but as far as businesses moving in, I don't think they take that into account.
In the county, we just started a comprehensive plan. We're just in infancy now. We had our first meeting of our steering committee, but the county, we're going to be looking at a lot of additional land use, especially residential land uses. And you mentioned the northeast quadrant there. and Amazon and that battery plant and everything else that's going on there. So that's one area of the county where we're definitely going to recommend additional residential land uses, sewer and water development, etc. So where it's an ongoing thing, and that's going to be about a 14-month process. And like I say, we just started. But, you know, in the past, when I pursued any grant funding, it's always a good thing to include your 20-year plan for your community.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the time frame would work out for phase 2 and 3 to assist in this or not, but it might be a good thing to include some of the recommendations that come out of our 20-year comprehensive planning document for our county.
It's a great idea. That.
I mean, at the very least, that's something we could update the PER with for March of 2026. You know,
Yeah, well, we were supposed to be totally done in right around March to June of next year.
Okay.
So, but a lot of the concepts that come out of it, we should have by March for sure.
Yep.
Hey Dan, can you loop me into that call with the SRF?
Yeah.
Please.
Yep.
Thank you.
And then, did you have a copy to the capital plan or not?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Thank you.
All right. That is all I've got.
Anything else for Dan?
Get your signature hand ready. There's a lot of them, and we'll actually need an attest, so we'll need someone else to sign the contracts as well.
I would think you'd want the secretary, and I forget, is that Jerry?
Jerry.
Jared.
He's such a great
Sorry, Jerry.
secretary.
Dan, you asked about flows from Hatfield. There's not a flow meter there, but I can get you run times.
Okay. Yeah, that'll work. I've done a drawdown test, I think, on Hatfield, so. Okay.
All right.
Now, Hatfield is going to be the people that are doing the part of the project.
That's what we call the lift station in downtown Rolling.
Oh, okay.
It's for something unrelated.
All right. As far as back to the water usage, things that we need to maybe keep in mind is that we had that hydrant failure at the wastewater. So I believe that's the wastewater's, that's their issue. So that maybe those couple days that we had high usage in January, we can't
Yeah.
build the
We would
toll road for that. So
Not take that into account that month, probably.
and what
yeah.
really brought this up is that one of the companies that's going to be doing the drilling or the boring,
Yeah.
they asked if they could use the water. I'm like, sure, no problem. But,
Where's the meter at? Is it just the one meter at the plant?
it's only one meter.
Wow.
So maybe we ask them to
Contribute?
to make sure they tell you what the volume is. I
How would we know that?
don't know how big their tanker truck is or how many times they fill it a day. If we get that information, then we know not to charge that to the toll road.
Yeah, we
We
would
don't
need
have
to
a
know.
hydrant meter.
No,
That'd be a nice way to do it.
right. Well, I mean, we'd have to. I guess we'd purchase one then.
And we don't have a meter for the wastewater plant either then, huh?
Well, could you check the usage that day before they start and usage after?
Yeah, but the toll road is continually using.
Well, I mean, we would know that day at least,
Right,
wouldn't
right.
we, during that
Right.
time?
Some way you can meter that from just that one particular use?
Oftentimes you put a hydrant, they sell them, it's a meter design that you put on a hydrant.
Right.
And when someone comes up and hooks on it, use the hydrant and fill their truck there, you got a reading.
How much does that cost?
Can't be that bad.
I don't know, not a lot of money.
That would be their requirement. That would be their responsibility, right, Chair?
Well, we'd use it for every contract.
Okay.
Use it for every one.
Okay, so we purchase it and then,
SCB comes by for water.
okay.
Well, that seems like a,
Right, because they're the one that came up to me and asked me. They were at the waste treatment plant, and I asked them what they were doing, and they said that they were going to be doing that. And was it okay to take water at that time? I'm like, sure, no problem, But
do we know when they're gonna be doing this so we can get one prior to their,
they're probably not going to start until
August.
August or
Well, so
September.
it was for our project for Saugony.
Yes, yes.
I didn't understand that. Okay.
oh, so we'd have enough time to get one to.
Right.
So I definitely
Make
think.
one out, and then, because a lot of times what to do, you'll sign it out, you'll have to decide who who gets it, they sign it out. The problem is you gotta make sure you get it back.
Yes.
But we leave it attached, right? Leave it attached to the hydrant,
If the weather is right and everything.
Yeah, but
as long as,
if you're not using it, I would suggest you take it off, because I've heard several times,
Dan, your thoughts?
I left it there and it wasn't there in the morning.
right.
I don't know if you want to.
But at least the hydrant you're talking
No,
about
you
is right
don't.
at our site, right?
Right, yeah,
Your
yeah.
thoughts on them
It's a
even
little more
using the
secure.
water and
Out on the system.
It would be enclosed, right, in the fencing?
I mean, with the additional flows coming from the
wide open?
travel plaza, yeah.
Come up here and talk.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on them?
They close in the
With
fence.
the additional flows coming from the travel plaza
So,
in the short term until we get a handle on it, I mean, I don't know.
You don't know if that's a good idea?
I'm not sure. I'd have to talk to them about what kind of volumes they'd be looking at, I guess. Because I know they fill up it's like a 2,000 gallon water truck or something like that they use for when they're mixing Borgel. But I don't know how often they fill that up, if that's like daily or.
So maybe we shouldn't do that until we get the additional
Yeah.
flows.
Yeah, until we get that ironed out.
As far as volume goes,
Yeah.
I'm not worried about volume at the water plant.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no I don't think there's any issue.
So you're just concerned about the treatment plant?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm concerned about what we're going to charge the toll road.
Right.
Right.
If
Right.
For our hydrant fee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
What's
think-
wrong with that?
Okay.
Just kidding.
I mean, regardless
Isn't
of
that
whether
fair,
we're worried about,
Matsberry? He's so sweet.
whether we're worried about volume or not, I think we want to know
Hi,
what usage
Chris.
is actually going to look
Yeah,
like.
I think we have to be keeping track of what they're using so we're not overcharging the toll road,
Yeah.
period.
Well-
We have to have a way to keep
but
track
it's a
of what
good
they're using.
procedure to go, you're gonna have, people are gonna be wanting to use your water,
Yeah.
okay?
So I think we should get a price on one. In
Yeah.
the meantime,
Yeah.
Yeah,
someone
I think so.
get a
Yeah,
couple
we have to be keeping track of someone's using our water. And I think we have to have some kind of a policy.
What do we have?
Don't you
have,
think
like,
so,
six-
Barry? I mean, I think
Yeah.
this board
I mean,
needs a policy.
I think for the purposes of the underbilling of the ITRCC, we can certainly freeze that initial ask as of July 1, because we know, maybe even August 1, because we know the project won't really be starting in earnest till then.
Well, I'm almost
So that's-
wondering, in our ordinance, do we have something already about using?
Construction.
I have no idea if it's in there or not. When I get back to the office, I have a copy laying
exactly.
around. I can take a look.
A lot of our ordinances already do have something about usage and stuff like that.
Well, and we may remember we kind of completely revamped the underlying ordinance for Rolling Prairie, Saucony, Hudson, but we kind of left the ordinances for water and sewer for the toll plaza alone. So they are kind of what the state initially drafted however many years ago. So I don't know whether they
We
have
are
any
getting ready
language.
to
But
amend them, so that might
Yeah.
be something to look at as well.
Are there 6-inch hydrants out at the? What size are they? 4-inch hydrants. Okay. So you'd be looking at a 4-inch hydrant meter.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Because
mean, I
we're,
would
we're
think
not in the
it'd be-
business to give away free.
Yeah, I think it'd be in the board's
water.
board's best interest to purchase one of those.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
I mean, especially you got to think with phases 2 and 3 coming up,
Okay.
you can offer it to the
What
contractor.
is it, what's the ballpark price? Grand?
I don't know.
Probably.
A little more.
$3,700 for one with backflow, but that's a 2.5-inch connection, so that's a lot of water.
Yeah.
Yeah, we probably. I'm hunting
Yeah.
USA Blue Book.
Okay.
So just to
under
kind of
under
give it a
5,000.
max,
Yeah.
Jer.
Yeah.
Jer, give us a max so they can purchase it.
Under 5,000.
Say 5,000?
Take that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Perfect.
is this something we need to look at and maybe purchase? Do we need, Barry would, I mean,
Yeah.
That,
Not exceeded.
Motion not to exceed 5,000 for purchase.
Yeah.
I was gonna recommend, I was talking to Steve about something else, but I recommend if there's an interest of time.
I think there is.
with Jerry and.
because you don't know if there's a backlog or not, so, yeah, I make a motion that, we look into pricing a meter for a 4-inch hydrant, not to exceed $5,000.
Second.
So we're going to look into pricing?
Looking into it, or are we giving?
Are we looking into it?
I think we should purchase it.
Purchase it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if we want to get it
ordered
Yeah.
and in place by August 1st probably is a realistic date for when they're really working. I think
get
we
it
need to
going.
get authorization to just allow.
Motion to purchase it.
And is it going to be JPR or Asbury? We kind of need to make certain who's taking the lead on actually
Yeah.
buying it and installing it.
I'm thinking
Asbury.
Asbury because you're gonna kind of be in control.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to not to exceed $5,000.
And then I'm
purchase
thinking
of a new,
we need to review our ordinance
Just
to
wait.
determine who can and the usage and all of that because we're not in the business of giving away
Okay. Water.
water.
Right.
is this
District.
pertaining to the motion that we're trying to vote on?
No.
No.
Okay.
You did that.
I got it.
Okay.
Used to be.
We got a
That
motion and a
one's-
second
yep.
to
Yeah, that's our favorite.
Authorized purchase of a meter.
not to exceed $5,000. Any questions on the motion? Proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by the word aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Now, what were you saying, Jennifer? Hey, one at a time. We're kind of getting a little out of hand. I'd like to get out of this room before.
Barry knows
Okay.
what I was talking about.
I think, Mr. President, it was just to have me take a look at the current ordinance that governs the ITRCC, see if there's any language about kind of what I would call third-party use via a hydrant, and see if there's any language. And I can actually look at the revised one we did for Rolling and Hudson Saucony, and if there's language in there, we can pluck it out and put it in the other.
And you could also talk to.
Yeah, and if there isn't in either, then I would lean on probably JPR to try and find me some language from another district.
Okay.
Mitch, did you have something?
No, I was just saying, Jerry found a price here. 2,300.
23?
Perfect.
Value shopping.
And Jennifer, I understand why you mention what you do because it's fresh and we gotta kind of bring some attention to it right away.
Yeah.
Because we will forget. It'll go by the wayside. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, where were we? Engineering committee? Did we already cover that?
Yep.
New business, next meeting, July 22nd. I won't be in attendance.
July 22nd?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take it.
I think we're already marked anyway, aren't we?
Yep.
Dude, you're
Okay.
so long-winded too, John. We need yeah.
It is.
Well, we need to make sure
Mark
Mitch is president as vice president, or there's an officer present. Could be Jerry,
Jared, we'd love it.
Mitch will be
Marcy.
here.
Yeah, I'll be here.
Mitch will take care of that.
Okay, pre-agenda meeting and attendees, July 15th at 9 a.m. That's the same, or the day before the other meeting. Old business. Any old business?
I guess I can kick that off there.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We got a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
We got a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by the word aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Meeting adjourned.